Hello friends, welcome back. This is part 37 of Shep's Spiritual Life, Awakening and Destiny to Serve. In this part I'd like to speak about the last few weeks I spent with Peter. Now things were coming to a close. He taught me most of what I needed to know, and the last 3 weeks, from about the last week of June until I left Peter's middle of July, Peter told me to turn to my spirit guides and ask them rather than himself to teach me. So I was doing so, but all along, since the spirit had been in my light, they had tried to give me explanations of everything Peter was saying. So Peter was talking to me and I was hearing spirit, talking to me at the same time, or later on when it become less clear, or I could perceive their thoughts, what they were thinking to me, and I believed they were spirit guides, so I had no reason not to. So they were giving me alternatives, and quite intelligent alternatives, but not the truth. So Peter was saying something and they were expanding on it and trying to delude me. So I spent the last 3 weeks fairly uneventfully with Peter. Now Peter wasn't a well man himself. He was quite ill at times, and anyway, things went on, and then I had visitations, several visitations, what I believed of Father God, but it was not. I'd had 2 real visitations of Father God when he'd helped me do things, but the spirit had deluded me by putting a slight tingling feeling, not unpleasant, in the bottom of my legs, and then they had given me a slight heavy feeling and put a voice, a nice voice that they pretended to be Father God. So they still did that at times, pretended to be Father God, and I could hear that voice in my mind, of course. So anyway, I was about the happiest man alive. Everything seemed to be going for me. I didn't know there was anything wrong whatsoever. And on the 15th of July 1995, I went to bed quite happily, celebrating, and trying to get through still every night, trying to get through my life to be with Su Ling. And I was so happy, and in love with Su Ling. And I kept trying, as I say, every night to get through, but no success. And then 1 or 2 little things had happened. But I went to sleep happiest man alive. I thought Su Ling was the brightest star in the universe. So I went to bed, and 5:25 in the morning I was woken up, and I had an extreme unpleasant tingling in my legs, which instantly made me think Father God was with me. I felt a heavy feeling, and it didn't seem like he was happy straight away with that sort of tingling. And then a voice, and it was the same voice as they've been using, but in a very authoritative and unhappy voice, spoke to me clearly in my mind from wherever it was coming from, through my light, I thought, and that's where it was coming through, this piece of equipment in my light. And I was told by who I thought was Father God, but was these conspirators in my light, "You have failed. You must get up and leave this house and not return to Peter's home again." And I said, but what have I done? Why have I failed? "You have failed the test. You did not choose Su Ling over this other girl. You still love both, and that's not right for my instrument. You must get up and leave this place now." And I was frightened. And I got up, and I wasn't going to disagree with who I thought was Father God. I thought I had failed, and so I got up and started getting dressed, and then I got a hurry up from this voice. It said, "You hurry up, get out now." And then the voice said, "If you see anybody on the way out the house, do not stop to talk to them. Go straight out, get in your car and leave." And I got a few bits together quickly and shoved into a sleeping case, and I just started walking downstairs to go out to my car, and it was 5:30 in the morning, and as I walked past Peter's front room, the door was open. Peter was stood there, and you know, he wouldn't have been up that time of day, and he was stood there with his back to me. He was obviously there to help me, but you know, I thought Father God told me to get out and not to speak to him, so I did go straight out the front door. Now later I learned, of course, this was not Father God, and I learned that Peter was of course there to help me if I asked, but for them to know Peter was up in his front room, there had to be yet another conspirator guide, which we'll find out more about later on. But I didn't know any of this, of course. I just thought it was Father God telling me I'd failed and got to get out, and I had to accept that. So I walked out the front door, got in my car, and as I was driving away from Peter's house up Cyprus Road, a voice came into my mind. A man saying, "I am one of your guides. I'm going to tell you that Father God's displeased with you, and he's going to take your light away from you for a whole month, and then you'll be put back with the light again." You know, and this was devastating to me. So this is just the beginning of the day they tried to kill me, and they drove me to death this day. So I'm now going to go on to the attack videos. And if you look in this bottom corner, you'll now see that an annotation's come up that will take you to the next group of videos, which are the attack videos. Now, before you watch them, they may be disturbing to some, and you know, viewer discretion and parental discretion is advised on these, and I wouldn't advise under 15-year-olds watch them because some of it is very gruesome. So that's the end of my awakening and the beginning of my spiritual attack. So I'll go on to the next video, which you'll be able to click onto. The playlist is there also on the next video that you can click on and watch all the videos on the playlist. So I thank you for your time. See you in the next video. Love and light, Shep. And I had a wonderful, wonderful awakening, and I shall never forget it. Love and light, Shep. Website links, other links below this video.